Hello everyone, I'm Alex Dykes. This is a Graco Classic Ride 50 child seat, and this is a 2015 Audi A3 sedan. This means it's our weekly child review segment. Now, much like the Mercedes CLA 250, I get a decent number of questions from people asking whether or not the Audi A3 is family friendly because they're thinking about stepping from something like a Ford Fusion or a Honda Accord that's fully loaded into something like a base Audi A3, and they want to know if that would really work with child seats. So let's hop on in and see if that will work. The first thing to know when considering a move from your average family sedan like a Camry, an Accord, or a Fusion, or a Mazda 6, something along those lines, to anything entry level in the European segment is the size of the vehicle. The Audi A3, the Volvo S60, the Mercedes CLA 250, they're all a decent amount shorter, especially on the inside, than your average mass market midsize sedan. A lot of people don't realize that, but that really plays a big role when it comes to installing especially rearward facing child seats. Now, the A3 acquits itself fairly well, just about as well as the Volvo S60, which is to say much better than the CLA 250. So you can see this front seat is adjusted for me at 6 feet tall. I can barely put my hand between this front seat and this rearward facing child seat. That means that, well, this particular position is not exactly safe, and I wouldn't do that. It means that I don't have to adjust my front seat too much out of my comfort zone in order to get this seat to fit right in the back. Now, this other seat right here, the passenger seat, it definitely is touching the seat. It's all the way back in its tracks. You just can't install this rearward facing child seat properly in the Audi A3, but I was able to squeeze a 6'5" passenger in the car in this particular seating position on the driver's seat. It wasn't exactly comfortable, but I did make it work. Another question I get asked frequently is, can you fit 3 child seats in the vehicle? And the answer is no. There really just isn't enough room across the back of the Audi A3 in order to fit 3 child seats of this Graco Classic Ride and then get the door to close. So if you do need to put 3 child seats across the back of the Audi A3, you're going to need something narrower than this Graco Classic Ride 50 child seat. I do think it would be possible if you had narrower child seats to accomplish this task, however, because between the 3 child seats, you'd only need to get about 1.5 inches of width taken out in order for them all to fit back here comfortably. Although you don't have to remove the headrests in the rear of the A3 for the child seat to be properly positioned in the back seat, it is a little bit tricky to install this top tether anchor right there on that anchor position if this headrest is in place. Rather unfortunately, the headrest is a little bit tricky to remove. You do need sort of a screwdriver to actually jam in this hole right here on this other side. There's a button on one side, and then there's a little hole you have to jam something in on the other side in order to remove the headrest. If you're the kind of person that installs their child seat and then leaves it in the car, then that really won't pose a problem. If, however, you frequently have to move or remove the child seat, then this would pose a problem. The A3 has a relatively decent amount of room in the back seat. Of course, this isn't up to mid-size sedan standards, so it is still a little bit snug back here across the rear bench seat with these 2 seats in the back. And if I sit upright, my head is touching the ceiling. However, I can sit upright in the A3 or nearly upright, which I couldn't do in the Mercedes CLA 250. The Volvo S60 does offer a little bit more room in the back. It is a little bit bigger of a vehicle than the Audi A3, so it is a little bit more accommodating for rear seat passengers. However, as you can see right here sitting behind myself, I have about 1.5 inches of legroom, so you can easily put 2 child seats in the back like I'm sitting next to right here, and then fit an adult right here in the back. As you would normally expect, compact sedans like the Audi A3 have relatively compact trunks. However, underneath this cargo hatch right here, we actually have a novelty for a modern car, and that's a real honest-to-goodness donut spare tire under there. That's a feature that I do like in a car. Let's see how many car seats we can jam in the trunk now. 2 car seats is about the limit, and that's due to the height of the trunk in the Audi A3. It isn't terribly tall, and this opening isn't terribly wide either, so it is a little bit more difficult to fit the child seats in this way. You could fit a few more if you had narrower child seats, and you still have a reasonable amount of room around the child seats for additional luggage in the back of the Audi A3. Again, I'm Alex Dykes. This has been the 2015 Audi A3 sedan. Go ahead and click that subscribe banner at the bottom of your screen so you can be updated on all of my latest videos, including the full review of the 2015 Audi A3 sedan coming up in about a day or so. Be sure and comment on this video. Tell me what you liked and didn't like about it. Go ahead and find me over at facebook.com/alexonautos. You can also email all of your questions to alex@alexonautos.com, and I'll see you next week.